Assalamualaikum and good evening to Madam Farhani. So today we would like to present about ta'zir and various offences. Members are Nurul Izzati binti Omar, Oty Cammalya binti Rasmat, Nur Diyanah binti Mohamad Nizam, Nurul Aliah binti Mohamad Faies, and Mohamad Faris Iskandar bin Muhammad Ramli. Next. Okay, so my name is Nur Diyanah binti Mohamad Nizam. My metric number is 057319. I'm going to explain about the concept of corruption according to Islam. So, the corruption comes from the word Arabic, which are ar-rashwa, ar-rishwa, and ar-rushwa, which means to invalidate the truth and the wrong justifications. Thus, the meaning of corruption itself also can be divided into several categories, which are ar-rahi, the bribe giver, al-murtashi, corruption, ar-rash, corruption, and corruption called to achieve the goal, al-istirshaq, which means the one who asks for the bribes, and the last one is al-rashwa wal al-warshawi, which means prejudice. According to Mujam al-Asasi, he said that bribery is a right to give. However, according to the Habeas defines corruption as a satisfaction of interest. For example, a person bribes a judge or commits a crime of something according to his needs and his interests. Next, we move to the factors. Basically, the symptoms of corruption due to several factors, which are the impulse of lust, ignorance, feelings of greed, weaknesses of leaders and organizations, absence of strict laws and constant monitoring, and the last one is practice likes to give. So as you can see, now I'm going to explain about ta'zir punishment. Ta'zir has several meanings, which are prohibition, humiliation, punishment, glorification, help and assistance. It's also used specifically for punishment by the government and its representative. Muslim laws said that ta'zir is a punishable crime. The punishment of ta'zir is left to the discretion or judgment of the judge that choose and receive the punishment for the offender. Now I'm going to pass to Izzati.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Izzati binti Omar. My matrix number is 057322. Today I will discuss the different type of ta'zir punishment, the condition for receiving ta'zir, and the use of ta'zir punishment in Malaysian corruption crimes. Firstly, form of ta'zir punishment. Ta'zir retribution is bound. Reproach, beating, imprisonment, and other type of ta'zir punishment are used to instill repentance and deter people from repeating their mistake. Ta'zir punishment is based on judge or his representative judgment and ijtihad, which is compliance with the crime, vice, victim, and circumstance. Halatu as stated by jurists in their writings and concentrate example used by the Salafus Saleh. As a result, a penalty will vary based on the distinction between criminal and vice. The following restriction might apply to the type of ta'zir punishment. Firstly, the punishment given is neither a prescribed penalty for prohibited action nor a punishment for prohibited act. Then, in the case of individual defending himself, the order and degree of rate and form of punishment should be tolerated to the circumstance. If the punishment is more low or light and give power as well as realization, there should be no need to implement a higher or heavier punishment. Then when the penalty is equivalent to hudud, the rate must be less than hudud, which is 40 lashes. This is based on hadith in which the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, a person who punishes an offences with the sentence has a later, including in the class of those who have exceeded the cap. Hadith narrated by Bahaki. Due to this disobedience, the sentences handed down cannot be carried out and hudud punishment cannot be imposed. The requirement for taking ta'zir. In order for ta'zir to be imposed and specific criminal by Sharia, Okay, then requirement for taking ta'zir. In order for ta'zir to be enforced and unspecific, criminal by shara, there is only one requirement that must be fulfilled, and that is rational. As a result, judge ta'zir for any sin convict, whether male or female, Muslim or infidel, poverty or saint children, as adult are liable for punishment, whereas sensible children are subjected to ta'zir as a lesson rather than punishment. Any person that requirement for taking ta'zir. In order for ta'zir to be enforced in unspecific criminal by shara, there is only one requirement that must be fulfilled, and that is rational. As a result, judge ta'zir for any sin convict, whether male or female, Muslim or infidel, poverty or saint children, as adult are liable for punishment, whereas sensible children are who commit mischief or harms other without right by speech, deed, or signal, whether the victim is a Muslim or an infidel, is subject to the punishment of ta'zir. Lastly, application of ta'zir punishment in corruption criminal offences in Malaysia. When it comes to the issue of corruption crime in Malaysia, if the offence of ta'zir is discussed, the penalty is also founded on ta'zir, which is quite applied to punishing appropriate in terms of the type of offences, type of punishment, manner of prosecution, condition of conviction, and manner of execution of the sentence. The fact that there are no ta'zir limit on age or fate in intriguing. As a result, if we look at the current situation, we can see that the crime of corruption in Malaysia encompasses as a wide range of offender, particularly when it comes to the religious suspect, where the majority of cases contain a combination of Muslim and non-Muslim. As a result, if the ta'zir punishment combination of Muslim and non-Muslim, as a result, if the ta'zir punishment is used, it is permissible because it can convict both Muslim and non-Muslim. The key rule of ta'zir punishment, as we know, it is protect society well-being from harmful things that through their act, the crime of corruption is capable of leading to society social harm and bringing a nation to run. As a result, it is preferable to use this ta'zir punishment as effectively as possible so that the current corruption offences can be dealt with appropriately. Thank you.
Pakai lagi jap. Assalamualaikum and hello to the madam. My name is Mohamad Iskandar bin Ramli. My matrix number is 05725. And as one of the presenters of this group, I would like to present to you and clarify to you the topic that is under my explanation, which is the efficiency effect of diminishing bribe crime according. As a Muslim, from my standpoint, I do believe that if the punishment for the crime of corruption and bribery was practiced based on the punishment of ta'zir, which of course was provided by Islamic law, then it is likely that it will be more effective. This is due to this type of method gives more time to the judge that can lead them to make more accurate decision that can lead to more mature, greater thinking and power for the judges to execute more adequate and more well-deserved sentences. Plus, having this type of sentences is extremely vital in fundamental change due to it can be seen as more morally right. Because unlike other punishment, ta'zir put their focuses on more in the nature of educating the offender rather than just confine them. Thus, they educate them to not repeating nor committing the crime. But however, there need to be an improvement to be looked at in making sure that this can be done. Various reforms and improvement needs to be done, which can allow Shari judges in their courts to have jurisdiction, thus be able to enforce the law based on the punishment of ta'zir. Sharia courts need to get wider jurisdiction to enable it to enforce the law. The Islamic Criminal Offences Enactment needs to be amended and enhanced so that it provides wider jurisdiction and provision so that the criminal punishment is based on ta'zir can be performed. Okay, dah tu je.
Okay, my name is Nurul Izzati and my matrix number is 0577362. So my part is solution on preventing bribery. So first is amend the enactment of the criminal offence of bribery in each state by inserting new provisions regarding to the criminal offence of bribery. Okay, so it means that Sharia courts and civil courts have to examine the jurisdiction which is involving the federal constitution. As we know that even though every state has their own problems regarding to the jurisdiction in Sharia and civil court, but still they can improve and refine with a little amendment renewal. And the second is incentive courses and training should be given to the judges regarding the punishment of ta'zir, so that the judges are better prepared to face the challenges ahead.
Itu
Maybe in 10 years, we don't know. The problem become more critical if the so the judges are mentally prepared.
I'm so
The,
sorry.
the third one is punishment based on ta'zir needs to be analyzed for its effectiveness and if appropriate can be practiced and applied widely in matters related to bribery. So punishment based on ta'zir has a wider scope. So it is better for ta'zir to be used at the same time help the judges in sentencing the offender. And second last, if necessary, the Sharia court may be allocated and empowered to punish and try bribery offences involving Muslims. So not only civil court can try the bribery offences, but the Sharia court is also given a power jurisdiction to hear about the problem of ta'zir, even if it's only to Muslims. And if Sharia court can try the bribery case, can hear the bribery cases, it will facilitate all parties, especially the courts, where the case of bribery in the civil court can be reduced with the help of the Sharia court. And the last one is in ensuring that the community is always aware of the risk of bribery, they need to be given some information and warnings regarding the effect of bribery and the punishment that will befall them. The authorities may make some various awareness campaign through the various aspects, whether by the mass media, by the electronics, by the public talks, by the briefings, etc. need to be expanded and their effectiveness evaluated. And so yeah, if it's not effective, improvements need to be made so that the community really understands what is meant by the corruption and severe punishment will befall them through the public place if they commit corruption. Moreover, other people may be scared of the punishments befall them for the persons who commit the crime. So that's all. I hope all the suggestions above can be considered wisely by the authorities. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Oty Cammalya binti Rasmat. My number matric is 057344. I would like to make a conclusion for this topic. Okay, firstly, corruption is an act against the law and religion. Looking at the angle of meaning can also identify that it's a wrong act. There are various characteristics of corruption discussed by many scholars to explain to the society so that they will they are not confused with their every act in daily life. Then this corruption covers various aspects to distinguish the act of corruption from other acts which were initially called initially not called corruption, but in fact it is a corruption. The practice of gift giving has become commonplace in today's society. Through such act, various parties need to ensure and examine that such acts are not included into the category of corruption. Allah has also mentioned in the Quran that uh, the act of taking right falsely is wrong and forbidden. It was also mentioned by the Prophet that he also forbade it was also mentioned by Prophet that he also forbade such act of corruption. In addition, the ulama also talk about the prohibition of corruption through the stories of the Khulafa and the companions of the Prophet. So it is clear that corruption is illegal. So it should be avoided and eradicated adequately so that it does not spread among the community. Then, in tackling the problem of corruption in Malaysia, various aspects need to be taken into account. Among them, the aspect of punishment is the mainstay to the solution of this problem, which often studied to make improvement in line with the passage of time and society. In this modern age, corruption is becoming increasingly difficult to curb as the rapid development of technology has made it difficult to the authorities to take action. Therefore, the authorities, especially the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, need to take note and always think of new initiatives to enable this crime of corruption to adequately eradicated. So the punishment of ta'zir is an effective initiative to curb the crime of corruption. Although this punishment give many options to judges and rulers, but it must be implemented with trust and transparency, so as not adversely affect to the society. Last but not least, aspect of education and awareness in relation to the symptoms of corruption um, should always be disclosed to the community regardless of age and rank. This is so that the crime of corruption can be eradicated before it spreads into the society. The beginning of prevention of corruption needs to be done from an early age. Um, in order to raise awareness among them. Therefore, every layer of society should be warned about the dangers of these crimes so that it can give birth to a society that is concerned and sensitive to the crime of corruption so that it does not continue to spread among the people in this country. That's all from me. Thank you.